Hello and welcome, Lynx here. We are playing Chronotopia second skin. The night has ended. A rebirth, sort of rebirth, more like time travel has been completed. The second escape, I guess, sort of successful. Night in a tree trunk happened. Let's see where this is all going. En route. Maybe for another bad end. That's a bad idea, right? Anyway, let's go. In no doubt, thanks to the new habit of sleeping on a plane much had developed with the farmers, Kionna woke up at daybreak in far better conditions than previously. I wonder if it should be like that, if you think about it. I mean, sure, she's done that, but considering she time traveled, she would not be in the body that was used to that, but in the body that was, you know, constantly comfortable. So, dude, I'm just trying to nitpick on her, okay? It's impossible to resist! Maybe. Who knows? To be fair, we can't really scientifically decide how it would be like, right? After swiftly stretching out, she went to pick up her extinguished torch and decided to turn it into a walking pole for the rest of the day. Repeating the same strategy as the night before, the young woman continued along the forest's border while keeping an eye on the path. At one point, she took the liberty of briefly getting out of the woods to read a sign discovered, delighted that she was already in Prince Grisel's kingdom. You know what would be awesome? If after, like, moving back in time and so on, stuff would still get altered. Because that would mean, despite her supposedly knowing stuff, things would not be easy. Okay? I hope some stuff will be altered, actually. That would be nice. That would be nice. Another point, the rumble of galloping horses invited her to crouch behind a bush. Man, what a shame she noticed. I wish she didn't notice the horses. Man. Understanding it was indeed her father's horse riders, the princess evaluated that she could now walk directly on the road without fear. Dude, a bunch of amateurs work for him. She was then blinded by the dazzling rays of the sun for a few moments. Considering that she could hear, I would assume she heard them when they were very close. They must have terrible sight. When she finally became able to distinguish her surroundings again, she was pleased to discover a familiar landscape. It was the valley where she had met Flo for the very first time. The same valley she had stroked along numerous times before driving the animals to pasture. Kionna recognized the lake near which she had talked with the Prince Grisel and the towers of this castle in the distance. The castle she had never visited. A wave of nostalgia overwhelmed her without warning. Nostalgia, but it happened 5 minutes ago. As she was busy admiring the pastoral view lying before her, the princess suddenly noticed figures moving amidst the fields. She stopped breathing. You know what would be also even more hilarious? If they remembered. Could it be? She had to be sure. Internally, sniffing, Kionna hurried up and kept moving forward until she was able to surmise that it was a shepherdess and her sheep. The coincidence seemed to be strong. The time, the place, there was every reason to believe that this gate was Aww. Her feet are huge. Little by little she became certain it was indeed Fleur, who was joyfully trotting around her direction. The princess' heart was racing so hard in her chest that she firstly did not know what to do. Should she speak to her? Ignore her? If she were to rely on Nahima's incredulous reaction, it would be unlikely that the farmer remembered anything. The two maidens were nothing more than strangers now. Kionna could not entirely convince herself that all those moments of complicity had just disappeared, but now how should she behave around her? No choices. Unaware of the princess' turmoil, Fleur was peacefully leading her sheep on the path. The weather was lovely, and she was in a good mood. The young girl had just left the farm, and she was already looking forward to placing herself in the shade of the glaring sun. As she was proceeding, she noticed a strangely dressed woman who was walking in the opposite direction.
A traveler dressed in a donkey's skin! Oh, well, that's not very common. What an odd thing to wear to roam the country, and I
totally don't make her sound like I used to make her sound. I keep forgetting. This unusual vision made her lose some precious seconds of attention, and Monty took advantage of the opportunity to run off. Monty, no!
Monty! Come back here!
That's not the voice, definitely.
Monty! 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 Monty, come back here!
The farmer chased after the animal and managed to catch up just as it was reaching the stranger. Considering that someone had seen her making a fool of herself, her cheeks took on a reddish shade as she timidly looking up.
Good day to you.
The stranger simply greeted her instinctively. Fleur responded.
Good day to you. Good day.
Without stopping, she smiled at her and continued on her way. The young girl barely had time to catch a glimpse of her dark skin and face. However, she had the vague impression that she knew this person. Was it something familiar? Fleur pulled herself together and shrugged. Now was not time to be daydreaming. There was work to be done. I mean, I'm not even sorry for Kionna, so... As the farmer was going her separate way while merrily whistling, Kionna picked up the pace without looking back, heavy-hearted. I mean, you are clearly looking back for... Just saying. She had politely greeted her. She had formalized the fact that they did not know each other anymore. The princess was convinced that the relationship could have worked had she not been so selfish. But... she's selfish. And she did not have the strength to renew the new lost ties. See? That's selfish.
Forgive me, Fleur. I cannot start from scratch again and pretend to become your friend as if nothing had happened.
See, pretend.
As if our story had never taken place. I cannot look you in the eye and claim that we have never met. This is too hard for me.
Kionna raised her eyes and contemplated the blue sky with melancholy.
Nahima mentioned the most important thing for me was to forge ahead.
So, be selfish, huh? True to her resolution, the princess still wished to marry Griselda. Ugh. Seeing as her first meeting had gone pretty well, and that going back to live with the Anselmi family was filling her with apprehension, she had judged that the best strategy was still to get hired at the castle. Thus she would be as close as possible to her beloved. And she believed there would be no shortage of attempts to approach him. Thence she was heading for the towers, her heart full of hope. When she finally got a glimpse of civilization, it took her breath away. At that, the princess' sumptuous castle was perched at the top of a hill. However, the city had clearly expanded over time, and a dense strip of habitations, the outskirts, extended the lord's domain to a second ring of fortifications. Having lived in her family's remote palace her entire life, short life, moreover, at a period of deterioration where her people would rather migrate, not surprising, the princess had never set foot in a city as populated as this one. Thus, she naturally felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. She whispered while crossing the portcullis.
Prince Griselda's domain is so big.
superb, Genova, the music. No sooner had she set foot in the city than all of her senses were thrown into turmoil. The title of the song makes you wonder if maybe we are in Italy right now? Because Genoa or Genoa? In Polish it would be Genoa. The narrow and disordered streets that were running to the city seemed trapped in a permanent state of chiaroscuro. One part was shrouded in darkness, the other part was bathed in light. At the bottom of the timbered houses there were shops directly open onto the cobbled pathway, and artisans of all sorts were working in plain view. Under the windows one could admire stalls on which they displayed their goods. The street were bustling with passers-by, and all these people were hurrying along in a constant cacophony, amplified by the exclamations of peddlers and hawkers who were shouting, each one more so than the other. Dude, honestly that would be so nice to like visit like Middle Ages city. Or maybe it wouldn't be. Yeah, I wonder. It would be nice to see it live, but maybe visiting... I mean... Now I got myself a tough thing to think about. Lost in that mess, Kionna attempted to make her way through aimlessly. She soon found out that the pathways were crossed by canals, authentic open sewers, which emitted a stench that was hardly bearable. Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. As she wandered, she also observed that the city's largest area was most likely the church square. Of course. And that the tinkling of the bells of contributing to the general chaos was quite convenient to keep an eye on the passing time. The princess would have gladly imitated a group of young people by enjoying a waffle, but she had no money on her. Should have thought about that. The conclusion was unambiguous. Wait, she literally only dropped clothes into that chest, didn't she? It's so dumb. And she still did that the same way as previous. I can't.
I absolutely need to find a way to make a living until I'm able to reach the prince. Someone might be able to accept to employ me somewhere. I've no choice but to try my luck.
Good luck. Except not really. Tired and hungry, Kionna started looking for a home without delay. As there were plenty of artisans and easily accessible ones at that, she inquired from various shops if they were looking for an apprentice. Baker. Ooh, good luck with that. Okay, working as a baker, as far as I'm concerned, that's super tough. I know it's not something for me, considering you need to be up very early. Like, super early. Like, ridiculously early. And I'm not an early riser when it comes to waking up. Tailor, a barber. I would not trust her with having my haircut. Dude, you would be without ears for sure. Cooper, furrier, weaver, potter, carpenter. What? Blacksmith. I would like to see that. Every one of them looked at her with disdain. No surprise. The princess eventually realized that she might be too old for a master to deign to bequeath his craft to her. Dude, searching for a job. I feel like back then it was so inconvenient. But then again, you probably would do what your, like, father was doing, or mother, basically, right? Your father is a blacksmith, so you continue that. I feel like that would be pretty much the path in life. Yeah, I mean, probably. We are living in a times where it's convenient to search for it, I guess. Even for, well, the search is convenient. Getting the answers, not really. Even though the future was looking bleak, an opportunity finally appeared just as she was denied a place by the butcher.
Are you looking for a job?
Perfect voice I've chosen. The question came out of the mouth of the customer who had witnessed the scene. A woman slightly older than her. Slightly, I mean, a little on the plump side? Right. Even though the woman's voice was soft, Kionna did not quite know what to say and simply nodded fearfully.
Come on, don't be shy! Tell me, where are you from?
The person was caught off guard. Experience had taught her that it was better to keep a low profile and conceal her aristocratic status, so she could not reveal the truth to his stranger. Let's go! Already lying to people! Yet, it was also dangerous for her to invent a new identity because she did not know the details of the master's living conditions, and one could easily see through her ruse. It was necessary to rely on something plausible without exaggerating too much. Oh. I mean, you know what? If you think about it, Chronotopia, second skin. If you think about it, like, the second skin could kind of be telling you that you develop a different image of yourself to others, right? So I guess in real life it would be like you are putting on a mask to other people, which technically we do. If you think about it, we totally do. It was necessary to rely on something plausible without exaggerating too much. Kionna thus opted for a half-truth. Oh boy.
I used to live in a farm in the countryside. Ooh, a farmer! And what they're doing here if it's not too discreet? It's rather uncommon to see plowmen, they usually stay on the land.
Following her reasoning to the extreme, the young woman resolved to make Flo's story her own because it was the one she knew best. Oh, how dare you!
My family fell victim to poor harvests and famine took them all, so I came out to seek a better fortune.
This trick seemed sufficiently convincing, seeing as her interlocutor's face immediately darkened.
Oh, I see. It's been a long time since your arrival. No, I've been here for only a few hours. I worked without interruption since yesterday night to reach the city, and I have not yet had a chance to eat or find a place to sleep. I don't know what to do now.
The customer let out a pitying sigh.
Poor child.
I mean,
we could argue with that, but I will not.
Kionna did not know how to interpret this display of compassion and looked down. This apparent humility finished convincing the good woman, who was already moved by her predicament and her simultaneously curious and pitiful garb. I mean, I won't be surprised if she will offer some kind of employment, given that she asked if Kionna is looking for a job, but we'll see.
Come to think of it, Prince Griselda is about to organize a great tournament. We need additional workforce at the castle. Would you like to work as a retainer?
The prince did not believe her ears. She was offered no more and no less than a position in her beloved palace. What a godsend. Wait, isn't that a diner like a high position? I thought it was! I mean, not like super high, but still. Definitely higher than... well, a person working on farm or whatever. In the grip of motion, she threw herself into the arms of her benefactress.
Oh, that would be a great honor.
The good one did not expect such a display of tenderness and could not help laughing.
Oh, easy, easy. You won't want to break my back, would you?
Kionna instantaneously kissed her embrace and stepped back with an embarrassed look.
Hi, I'm Berfie.
Berfie, right?
A cook in the Prince Grisel's service. And you, what's your name?
This time the princess understood that it was not wise on her part to give her real name and preferred to use the nickname Fleur had given her.
People call me Donkey Skin. Nice to meet you, Donkey Skin. You're quite lucky that one of the servants has been ill today. I'm replacing them because this is an emergency, but I'm usually not the one in charge of doing errands.
Achievement unlocked. The cook, meet Berfie. By the way, this is the 16th achievement at the moment. Out of 66. Ooh. We have 666 for... Even though, if you think about it, one of the achievements we are not supposed to unlock, right? Yeah, it was funny. Anywho. Berfie gave a vigorous and happy slap on the back of the poor girl who did not expect such a force.
Well, anyway, I don't want to appear rude, but I still fell off my plate. Come follow me.
The cook thanked the butcher for his work, and while filling her basket with meat, she beckoned Kionna to help her. She did not need to be asked twice. Will she be able for? Let's face it, I mean, you know how I mentioned in the very beginning about not being used, possibly not being used to sleeping in a tree trunk and so on, but I mean, over here with carrying something, as we know she was not able to carry stuff in the farm. I feel like her body, like right now, should not be able to handle huge waves, right? Maybe they don't carry that much, but still. Let's not forget that. I mean, she moved back in time, but not her body. Sort of. Anyway, whatever. Let's stop thinking about that.
Chat, descendré.
As the two women were laboriously going up the cobble streets, their arms full with victuals, Berf explained to her recruit what her new life would look like.
It's quite simple. The castle is rested because of the tournament's preparations, and an extra pair of heads will be more than welcome.
Berfie, I have to interrupt you. There is things that are more important than your explanation here. Rude!
La Gerse de Ding-Dongs.
Or however you read it. Oh, or Turkey Keeper. No clue what that is. Again, it's a variation told by folklorist Jean-François Blade in Comtes, I think it's Comtes, right? I hope it's Comtes.
Populaires de la Gascogne.
1886. Ooh, we are in 19th century. We moved quiet into the, you know, future, even though still in the past, but which is both similar to Cinderella and Donkey Skin. Is that so? An old king deserves to test his 3 daughters in order to ascertain which one he should bequeath his lands and properties to. Dude, just divided between all 3 of them. The 2 eldest assure him of their love, but the youngest only says that she loves him as much as salt. Yeah, dude, salt is good for... It's very important ingredient. Upset, the old king asks his valet to put her to death as a punishment for her insult. Fortunately, he prefers to save her and discreetly helps her to escape instead. On his recommendations, the princess settles in a neighboring castle to work as a turkey keeper. Dude, I mean, the king was dumb. He did not understand. Also, I totally left my glasses somewhere else. Give me 5 seconds. 1, 2. Okay, I'm back. I mean, I would say this is... I mean, it might sound bad, but I would say what she said was a good thing. I mean, again, salt is an important ingredient when it comes to cooking. The prince of the kingdom is quite handsome and she falls in love with him. When carnival time arrives, she pretends to be sick and goes to the ball every night dressed in her finest dresses, identical to Donkey's games, so that he would notice her. Only during the last night does she lose her red slipper, which spurs the prince to try it on all the maidens of the country find her, just like Cinderella. You can guess what happens next. No clue. No idea. Absolutely, I have no clue. I need it to be explained. Ow.
You'll be a goose herder. Every morning you'll lead the geese outside the city so that they can graze in the fields and fatten. Do you know what to do?
Are you serious? Why is she getting a job that she knows how to do already? Urgh!
Yes, madame. Perfect! To be careful not to lose a single one of them. The king cares a lot about his animals. I'll be vigilant. Very good. You'll be assigned as a multi-purpose servant in the afternoon.
Multi-purpose. That sounds so like a physical object.
There's always a task waiting to be done here, so we'll have plenty of work. Nevertheless, it's possible to choose yours by negotiating with the other retainers. We have a meeting every night before curfew to confirm that everything has been done and assign roles. Volunteer and we should be able to come to an agreement everyone is satisfied with.
Okay.
Very well, madame. Once your afternoon work is done, you'll have 1 or 2 hours of free time until dinner. Use it as you fit it, but note that giving a hand to other people will always be appreciated. Basically, work yourself to death. Doesn't mean you have to overwork yourself, but, you know, still. I will keep that in mind.
And I'm here wondering, will we hear about Fleur? Anything still? I wish we could. And not in a way that Kionna will drop money on her at some point if she succeeds, but, you know, I want Fleur to succeed on her own. That would be nice. She deserves that. Anyway, as they had passed the city and were now entering the castle's inner walls, Berfi stopped dead in her tracks.
Tell me, have you ever served at chatelaine before? Never, madame, but I will do the best I can. I don't doubt it. It's just that you are speaking awfully well for a country girl.
Gotcha! Kionna shuddered. The cook had immediately noticed her manners. Despite her best efforts to use less formal turns of phrases and vocabulary, as she had done with Fleur, the exercise was not fully spontaneous to her, and it showed.
I'm merely trying to be polite.
Berfi shrugged and continued her way.
Well, whatever. It could always come in handy if you ever make contact with the king.
Or maybe king of another country that you maybe will marry. Who knows what might happen? The distant chime of the bells suddenly made Berfy jump.
My goodness, already? I don't have much time before tonight's service. Listen, I'd love to take care of you, but I'm going to be very busy for the next couple of hours. I'm going to ask you to sit down in a discreet corner of the kitchen and not move from there until I've called you.
Funny story, I know that situation from my own life, except for the fact that I've put my resignation letter, right, to one place. And they're like, fine, we'll deal with this today. I had to wait like 6 hours in one place. Because the person who deals with that was supposedly not in the office, right? Supposedly. So 6 hours later, finally was done with that and so on. So I know these situations. Except I could like browse the phone for all this time, so I was done with that. I also had the PSP with me. I drove there prepared. Anyway.
Understood. I'll make myself inconspicuous. This kitchen looks very similar to the one in a certain kingdom.
Just saying. When she reached the kitchens to drop the meat, the princess immediately understood that her benefactress had an important role in the preparation of the lord's meal. Convinced chefs were rushing in every direction while asking her for instructions, and she seemed to manage her troops with an iron fist. Observing this peculiar movement was not unpleasant. In the end, she lost track of time. So much so that she blinked in surprise when Berfy invited her to go eat something after finally completing her work. It was a welcome offer after such a long day, but the cook had still things to show her. It did not take her long before, once again, dragging along her new recruit through the corridors.
It also looked a little bit like the castle that Kionna used to live in, just saying.
Come, I'll show you your housing. All the retainers are housed in a specific building. The rooms are then allocated depending on each person's position. I'm not going to lie, you'll have one of the last ones. I'm sure that I'm going to feel at home nonetheless. Good, I'm going to introduce you to all the servants and show you your bedding. We meet in the common room when a task has been finished or to deliberate over something, so there's usually a lot of people this hour.
Translating words into actions, Berfy led the princess through another long corridor, then stormed into a room. Moments after, she felt several inquiring pairs of eyes glued to her. The room, of modest proportions, was barely furnished. There were some tables, some chairs, and a small fireplace to keep warm. Men and women of varying ages were sitting there, and every single one of them went quiet at the exact moment the cook opened their mouth to call for silence.
Your attention, please. I'd like to introduce the hunky skin who's right here. From this day forward, she's the one who's going to replace Berenger as a goose herder.
Berenger is a good, super cool name for. Sounds cool, right? Berenger.
She will also serve as a multi-purpose retainer. Therefore, I'm counting on you to welcome her as it ought to be and make sure that she fits in as well as possible.
An anonymous ovation followed this declaration. Kionna couldn't help but feel confused, for she was not used to being applauded. I know, I mean, I thought that she would be like, please applaud me, yes, applaud me more. Fortunately, Berfy seized her hand and led her to stairs located in a corner of the room. They climbed a long time, before reaching the housing that was reserved for her. It was a tiny attic bedroom that was sparsely furnished. There was only a straw mattress and a small bedside table with an old rug, a little candle and a shard of a broken mirror resting on it. The attic was covered with spider webs and the entire room was collecting dust.
I'm sorry, but that's the best I can give you. You'll have to do some cleaning to make this small bedroom slightly more presentable. But that's still better than living on the streets, right? Absolutely. Thank you for providing me a roof. You're going to spend tomorrow with me. I'll explain everything you need to know about the daily functioning of the castle, and you'll be on the dinner shift after that.
Yes, madam.
You must be exhausted. You'd better rest now. I certainly will. Good night to you.
After a bit of cleaning, the worn-out girl lay in the makeshift bed. A little cleaning? This place needs like a thorough cleaning for.
It's not quite the same as farm life, but it seems awfully similar.
She whispered while closing her eyes. Thus, she spent her first night in Prince Grisel's castle! And this is the moment to end it. We're totally going to cut it right here, right now. Oh boy. I wonder how this will go. I mean, we certainly met a new character. She seemed friendly, but we'll see. I mean, it's not like we worked with her yet. And, well, leave it to me to judge a person who seems to be the boss of the area. We'll see how it goes, girl. We'll see how it goes. And Berfy. Anywho, consider liking and subscribing after usual. I'm gonna ask that. The game is on Steam, so you know, link in the description. You can go and get it yourself as well, of course. And with that being said, let's end it. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow too, when we continue. Bye bye.